Hey everyone, welcome back again to the Iconis Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Barry 3D for Deep, Dark, and Delicious. And on my side, as always,
I go by the name of DJ Rod C. Welcome.
DJ Rod C. Look at that. Holy crap.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, he's back. All right, yeah, he froze for half a second. He's back. Yeah. You know, system's trying to keep us down. Fight the power.
Sorry.
Oh my God! Bring back Public Enemy, eh?
I felt a little flavor there. Okay.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. You know, I'm gonna apologize now. We've been having some little technical issues, so if one of us freezes, everyone, and you're watching this, we gonna keep on going. So don't worry about that. That's for sure. Thank you once again for joining in. We took a little bit of a break. We are back. We are energized. Got to get ready for the holidays and all that stuff coming up. So wow, still so much to talk about, and we are here to talk about it. But before we start, we got to go through the list that we normally like to go through. So first of all, when you see this, don't be shy. It's not a secret. Tell your friends. Like, subscribe, and share. Pass the love, pass it around. And you can find our podcast, on iconis.podbean.com. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast. We are on all podcasting platforms for a while, so find it wherever you want to listen to it. If you want to watch it, hey, we're on YouTube also.
We on YouTube. We up there. We up there.
We up there. We up
in the tubes. We up in the tubes.
Up in the tunes, man. That's what I'm saying. We up in the tunes. And you can find us later on. At the end of the video, we have a flow code. So we got a QR code. So that QR code will bring you to all the wonderful things that we do. So you can find, everything dealing with Iconis, from our websites to merchandise to the whole 9 yards, a donation page if you want to help the channel grow. Holidays are coming up. And you can find my personal page, barry3d.com. You can find Rod and his link tree and everywhere he's at. And you can catch him every Wednesday DJing on Twitch.
I'm all over the place, people. I'm on the Twitch.
He's on the Twitch. Better on a Twitch than having a Twitch.
I'm telling you right now. Got none of that. Took his medication.
So that's for sure. Want to give a big shout out to our boy Jason Reese for hooking us up, making us look pretty. Bird Digital Arts. He's in the flow code. You'll see him at the end of the video. Shoot him some love. Tell him he's on my Iconis. That's one. Two, I know I keep promising, but he's coming very shortly, is our boy Paul Ash. So Paul Ash, wonderful person, great comedian, and fellow nerd. And he has a show going on called BattleCom. That's one of his shows. They Talk Funny is another one of his shows. The Check-In is another one of his shows. And The Love Doctor. That's all he's doing online. Plus, he's still performing in person whenever he can, doing stand-up comedy. So if you're a fan of stand-up comedy, it doesn't matter where you reside, right? He's in Montreal, but you find him online. So look him up, Paul Ash. That's my friend, buddy, mentor, fellow nerd. That's another shout out we got to give there. I got to give it out to my boy Zeus Fleming. I met him. Doing BattleCom, and then ended up doing one of his shows. We're gonna have him on this one too, nice. on Rat TV. And it was hilarious, man. This guy he's a character. I'm glad to have met him. So absolutely look for him. Another podcast that I like to follow and that I'm on is Jimmy English. Back to the Balcony. And I'll be going on his podcast very shortly, talking about one of my favorite movies called Excalibur with, Sir Patrick Stewart that's in this movie. Helen Mirren is in this movie. So when you see that up, it'll be up probably next month or something like that, but we're recording it this weekend. So looking forward to that. So definitely check out Back to the Balcony. These are things to keep your eyes on. And two other quick mentions is if you're in Montreal, and you're looking for a book, support pulp books. Check out Check Swings on the South Shore in Brossard. That there is a comic book and sports memorabilia store with Trevor, Dom, Pierre, and another Dom. So there's two Doms that work there, one Pierre, and Trevor is the owner. Yeah, I went out from time I was living in Montreal. I've been rocking there the whole time. So nice. definitely, please check him out. I should have put up one of my cards here. When I talk, I'll go and get one. And then also, if you're out in Kitchener, that's
go to the west.
That's right,
West Side.
You know, go and check out my boy Wes, Ramon
in the west.
West, exactly, West in the West. So it's Wow Comics. I like that. Wow Comics, right? Warehouse of Wonder. That's what it's called. You can find them on Facebook. You'll see the address pop up. We did a little thing, so you'll see those all there in our social media. Check them out. Wow Comics out in Kitchener with Wes, Ramon, Sydney, and Chris. They work there. 2 floors, 500,000 comics are in there, along with figures. So their back issue collection is insane. If you were on the top floor, you're missing out. You got to go out the building around to the bottom floor. Huge. Watch the video where I do the walkthrough. I'll put it up on our YouTube channel and you'll see it.
Crazy.
So please go there, show them some love. Tell them that you heard about from the Iconis Podcast. So Check Swings in Montreal on the South Shore in Brossard, and Wow Comics out in Kitchener.
The West Side.
West Side. Yeah. Okay. Though I'm just in Burgundy today. I haven't joined the gang. So that's
except for his red shirt.
Against the blue wall. Yeah. So that's what's going on. Rod, my friend, I'm gonna let you talk for half a second while I go and grab this thing. You know, but where can we find you? What you up to, man?
Listen,
Tell us.
I'm up to. Listen, right now where am I? I'm somewhere in the alter universe. Okay, seriously. As Barry was saying, listen, I was up. You can find me up on Twitch. You know what? You can hit me up at twitch.tv/DJ Rod C. Listen, I play shows on there, play a whole variety of different music. You know, you got your R&B, your hip hop, your soca, your reggae, your house, your disco. Listen, I bring it to old school, new school. I just have a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of great interaction with a lot of people. And listen, once you come on, make sure you hit that follow button, and make sure you just say, hey, I saw you on Iconis. Like, yeah, that's wonderful. And as you can see, there's the logo. There's the code.
The code.
Scan the code.
Scan the code. Get your smartphone. Scan the code. There you go. So
there you go.
There you go. Now you know. See, and of course, Rod's whenever he plays, better be playing Saturday Love, because when I pop on and I don't hear that song,
you know, we gonna work that. Don't you worry about that.
You will catch hands, son. You will catch hands.
Techniques, I caught them, son. I caught him hands.
Yo, Jesus, we'll be tossing hands on that one. That being said, I think we've got everyone on the round table, and if not, oh Jesus. Last but not least, oh my God, how can it? It's been a while. We took a break, so now let me get back to my normal self.
Get back into the groove. Here we go.
Back into the groove. My comedy brothers.
Yeah, that's normally the routine I do when I hear that.
My comedy brothers. This is Touch of Grey. Look out for Touch of Grey Matter. That's a comedy troupe. And you can find, once again, if you scan the code, you would find where we will be at. So happy to say that we'll be playing out in Niagara Falls at Taps Brew House on November 27th. So the show is called Food for Thought. It is a fundraiser. So it's myself along with Dave Sokolowski, Thomas Patrice, Zulfa Ali. That's a Touch of Grey Matter with a good friend of the show, Levi Mann. We're going to be out there performing and raising money. So it's $40 a ticket, with the proceeds going to the local food bank out there. You know, the season's coming up. It's been a tough, let's say 2 years. Let's just go with that. Some people have it really tough. So for those that can give, come out, laugh, eat. And so the $40 ticket includes the comedy show. It includes dinner, and the proceeds go to, you know, a local food bank. So I'm really happy about that. And we've been doing season 2 of A Touch of Grey Matter online on our YouTube channel. So at this point, I haven't even checked it, but I'm sure we've cracked over 100 videos on there, all different subjects of us being just ourselves. And you can also catch us live at different places. So don't miss out. Please, if you can support, come out, support. If you can't, try to see. I think we have a link that we can donate on there too. So if you want to just give a donation, I said going to a great cause. So in advance, thank you very much. And for those who can make it, oh my God, it's gonna be me unfiltered and just going a mile a minute. So always make sure to check out Barry 3D and check my blog to see what I got coming up for sure. So I have that show coming up, and there's another one December. I think I'll be out in St. Catharines area again. So December 2nd. So look, come on out, show your support.
We're gonna find you.
Make you laugh for the holidays before the shopping starts. All right.
Well, the beautiful segue. Now we're talking about laughter and stuff like that. So you know what? We're gonna start today's wonderful episode with a character who is very comical.
Well, maybe not in his particular eyes, but to everyone else.
Well, that's it. From his perspective, I'm serious as water, like what? Yeah. What? But everybody else's eyes.
Joker. Who let him out? Who let him out? As you saw in the title, and here we are. We are going to talk about Groo the Wanderer.
I'm wandering.
Wandering. Groo the Wanderer was oh my God. It's a fantasy character, right? It's like a farce. So it's dealing with the swords and sorcery whole background. It seems that the character was based in Europe at the time. Even though that's saying Europe, but I mean, it's got those influences when it's been drawn. And this was created, and I know I'm going to mess up the name.
Nah, you're not. Let's try it again.
Okay. So, and if I do, I'm sorry, but hey, that's why my parents named me Barry. They gave me a simple name I can say because, it took me a better part of a year just to say Dave's last name from Touch of Grey, Dave Sokolowski. I could say it now. You would have asked me this maybe a year and a half ago. Sikiluki. Yeah. Don't tell Dave. I couldn't. Well, he knew.
Well, we'll blank out this part of the video.
Yeah. Dave's tall, but I'm short and fast. So, the creator's name is Sergio.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So far, so good. Sergio Aragones.
We could go with that. Aragones. Yeah, Aragones. Yeah, okay. I will accept that.
You'll accept that?
We'll accept that. Yes, it is good.
Right. So he turned around and created this character. So he created Groo the Wanderer. It was a comic book series that he written and drew. Now, if you would have maybe not sure of the name, when you see the art style, it's very reminiscent, and you would know it if you collected Mad Comics back in the day. So yes, there was Saturday Night Live and there was Mad TV, and if you know Mad TV, then you should know Mad Comics. So Sergio used to draw these little characters or these little comic books outside of the frame of the book. So you'd have the frame of the book with the main story, and you'd have a little janitor going by, and he was drawn at the bottom real quick or in the crack, doing something, and there's people at the top. So you always had to look around the panels, and he would draw, and his mind was he was the fastest cartoonist in history, that he could draw a page faster than anybody else. That's what his claim to fame was. He liked to go with. So clearly he was a character himself
on his own right.
On his own right, with a sense of humor. And the beauty about this is we all know the big comic book companies out there. So Image, and I'll come back to Image. So there's Marvel, DC, there's Image, there's Dark Horse, there's Top Cow, it goes on, but everyone knows Marvel, DC, and then Image came up, and Image has been holding on pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
But Image is there because all those guys that left Marvel went to Image, right, because they wanted to be own their own property. They wanted it to be creator owned comic, so they got the rights for anything they created. Prior to that, Groo the Wanderer by Sergio was the longest running creator owned book at the time, pre-Image.
Right.
Let that sink in. Everyone knows about Image and what they did, and it made a mark in history, right? There's certain things that stand in the industry that make a mark. When you had WWF and WCW, NWO, made a mark in the wrestling wars and stood out, and you have to give them their place in history. Right. So this creator seemed to kind of under the carpet for half a reason. But he created this character and he was shopping the character around for a long time to kind of get it started. And it wasn't just him. It was Sergio. It was Mark Evner, who co-plotted and he actually rewrote some of the stuff. Stan Sasuke did the coloring and lettered, and then Tom Luth did the coloring. So this started off very independent. They couldn't get anyone to kind of commit to the idea of bringing this book to life. So they went. And then finally there was a comic book called Destroyer Duck. Kid you not, if you see it, Destroyer Duck. He's all in a commando outfit, with the black hat, like an old school commando outfit. And then he was hardcore. And then Sergio got the chance to do a 4-page panel in that book. And that's where he introduced Groo for the first time back in the 80s, I believe it was. Sorry, 1982. So Destroyer Duck #1, back in 1982. That's Groo's first official appearance.
Got it.
Right, and then he did a couple of other smaller appearances here and there, and he went through different comic book companies. So at one point, Groo was part of Marvel, and then he was part of Epic, and then at one point, Groo was being published through Image. So pretty much it was Marvel, and they said, okay, you can keep the rights to the character when he was doing full-out books. He was happy with that under the Epic. So it's Epic, which is owned, Epic was owned by Marvel. But when Marvel hit some financial times, they had to let some of the books go or cancel some books. He jumped over and went over to Image, right? Creator owned. And you got to think of everything that was over at Image. One of the few books that were comical was this one. So picture Conan the Barbarian meets Homer Simpson.
Very good. That's a very good connection. Yes. That is a Conan to Barbarian, with his skills and adversary looking hard stuff merged with Homer J. Simpson. So let's get a good picture of understanding. Groo is he's a warrior. He's a warrior. He loves to fight, but he just knew that's one of his skill sets, that he's good at fighting.
Yeah, he likes to call it the fray. He likes to get into a fray. He doesn't call it fighting. He goes, I'm getting into a fray? Like Hercules would say, I'll bestow the gift upon you, the gift of combat. With him, it's a fray.
Unfortunately, with Groo, that's the only thing he's good at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is where we have fun within that. Groo is more of that comical relief, that type of buffoon who
buffoonery.
Yeah, here we go. He's a buffoonery. He just doesn't have that particular soft skill. He doesn't have that peeper skill. He doesn't have that soft talking tone with people. He's Groo.
It's Groo. That's what it is. And the thing is, so Groo walks around. He's got a very simple look. He's pretty much a buffoon. He walks around with 2 katanas. That's his swords. 2 katanas he has on his back, and that's what he uses to fight with. And there's a lot of fun supporting characters within the books. But with Groo, he's a dumbass. He's got a big heart, and he wants to do the right thing, but he's stupid. He's stupid. I mean, a rock can outthink Groo at times, and depending which run you're reading. If you're reading the Marvel run, it was very comical. At one point, it did get a little bit serious when he went over to one of the other companies, and then the original team kind of came back and took the reins. But stupid. This is why I said it's like Conan meets Homer Simpson, put them together. He's a frumpy, big guy. Not really big on hygiene. He walks around everywhere barefoot.
Yeah, he's a barbarian.
He's a barbarian. He's literally exactly what he is. He's a barbarian. And the beauty of it is, like, to give you an example, Groo would go and fight an army. Won't think why he's fighting the army. He'll just pull out the swords, fight the army by himself with just his 2 katanas, and he would win. But then he would say, why am I fighting him? He just likes to fight. There is a story where Groo gets in there. He sees 2 armies going at it. Now he knows one of the guys there. So he recognizes a guy and he goes, hey, you're a pirate. I know pirates are bad. So if you're attacking this town, I'm attacking you. And Groo goes to attack him and starts taking them all down. And then the pirate captain turns around and is like, hey, but Groo, and swindles him for Groo to say, wait a minute, why am I attacking you? I should be attacking the other guys then, right? Yeah. So he runs back to the village that he's supposed to be protecting and starts attacking that army. And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, well, you guys are the bad guys because you won't give the pirates the food and the treasure. They're trying to steal it from us. We're paying you to stop them. Oh, right. Turns around, goes back to fight them. It's like, you tricked me and lied to me, and starts fighting the pirates again. Like,
listen, you know what? This is to show you one aspect. Another aspect is hilarious that he was basically, a problem came up. Very simple. You have a problem, you can take a minute. I'm going to sit down here and just think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The wonderful aspect of how it was drawn. It was drawn, and you can see him sitting beside this rock trying to think out some plan, or he's basically trying to think something. Light. Second panel. Mid-dark gray. So now we're hitting afternoon. Third panel. Darkness. Maybe I understand why they're after me. Basically, the whole day, basically like a SpongeBob. A few hours later. A few hours later. Oh, I know why. Boy. So
stop it.
Those are some. There is some of the aspect of Groo. So we're just giving a nice little context.
Oh God, yes.
There's many.
Oh, there's many. I mean, look, if you want to sit down, you want to read a sword and sorcery book, has its own rich history to it. This is the book to read. You can't go wrong. I mean, and he's got a curse on him. So one of his curses is anytime he steps on a boat, the boat automatically sinks. No matter what it is. So it's to the point where, once again, his pirate buddy sees him and he's like, hey man, I'm coming aboard. And like, don't let him step foot on the ship. Boom. The ship is still in dock. And as soon as Groo puts his foot on the ship sinks. Groo gets up, everyone's looking, is like, Groo. It's to the point that he's so feared because he ends up causing more damage to the people he's trying to help than saving them. So all you hear is, hey, Groo's coming to town. Groo's coming to town. That's it. Close the stores, pack it up. We're all moving, burn down the village. It's going to be burnt down anyways. Groo's coming to town. And people will go and destroy their own village, their own town. And then Groo will walk by and is like, huh, why is that the whole town's on fire? Why are they not doing anything about it? And then Groo will just keep on walking, like, okay, whatever, and he keeps going about his business. And like, wait a minute, did we destroy our town for nothing? One guy be like, no, wait for it. And sure enough, a big army would show up trying to chase down Groo. A big fight would happen. So it caused even more damage to the town. Even though there was nothing there, it'd be nothing but a crater. It's like this.
Hilarious.
The only good thought Groo had is he had a dog at one point. Rufruto, yeah. And with his dog Rufutaro, let's put it away. The only good thing about this dog is if that dog is with Groo. For first of all, Groo kept the dog because he found the dog. He ended up keeping the dog because he figures if he can never get food and he's hungry, he'll eat the dog. Now the dog is very intelligent and has its own thought bubbles. This dog was a dog at a palace and was bored with his life and ran away from the palace, saw Groo and thinks Groo is this tech genius warrior and stuff like that. Even though at moments he thinks it's like, well, he's being a little bit dumb, but he believes in him so much. But Groo's a mercenary. So Groo's first thought is, I'm going to keep the dog in case I get hungry and I need food. And then it's like, well, he is a companion after many issues, he finally changes his mind about eating the dog and say, I'll just keep him. He's a good companion. He's a good whatever. And there's a whole story dealing with trying to get the dog back to the palace. Groo never realizing that the collar on the dog is worth a bunch of money because it's all like a collar with pure diamonds and rubies on this collar. Groo just looks and thinks it's just a regular collar, doesn't even realize how much it's worth. Groo could have sold the collar and lived well for the rest of his life. Very well.
But he can't put two and two together to see the sparklies on, and I need money. I'm doing these jobs at towns to save people. I need money, but there's money walking by beside. But all right, Groo, keep on walking.
Oh yeah, look,
keep on walking.
There's a whole situation with Groo once again, where Groo would turn around. He shows up to the village. The village turns around and is like, yeah, we're looking for someone to defend us. Groo's like, oh, well, how much does it pay? You know? And this little boy, must have been like, 8 years old, walks up to him and goes, hey, man, so you're going to defend our village? Yeah. Okay, so you have to pay me, and whatever their coplins, I think they're called, their currency.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to pay me 5 coplins. And Groo's like, wait a minute, why should I pay you? And the way this kid spun it is Groo was paying this kid, so the village would pay him, but then Groo would give this kid the money because he was paying the kid to defend, so he had the right to defend the town. At the end of the adventure, Groo comes out broke. He owes the kid money because the kid keeps charging him to defend the town. So he's, keep in mind, it's like a politician kind of thing. It's like, oh, so you want to defend the town? Yeah. Okay. So for you to defend my town, you have to pay me, 5 coplins to defend my town. I mean, don't you supposed to pay me? I'm the mercenary. No, that's not how it works. You have to pay us to have the right to defend our town. Don't you want to have a good fray? Okay.
Here, you have access to my buildings. You have access to my town. Go, $5. Wow.
Yeah.
That's Groo.
That's Groo, man. That's Groo. Now, what makes the world of, Groo the Wanderer, Groo, so much fun is it's not just the main character. It's not just the dog that he almost had as a doggy meal. It's all the other characters that you have in there. So for, there's another character in there, and her name is Shakal. Now, Shakal is the opposite of Groo, in a sense. She's just as deadly with a sword. She goes around helping people, but she's beautiful. She's smart, right? But Groo has a big crush on her, So she works with Groo, and she just kind of puts up with him, always trying to not hit on her. He's not vulgar, right? But he's trying to romance her in his own way, and she knows it. But she looks at him and is like, ugh. And there's times where he almost seems to get a little moniker of respect and affection about to come from him and say, oh, Groo, that was really good. And then Groo will go and screw it up, and it's like, oh, and we're back.
Yeah. Now I remember why. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, Groo, which way are you going? I'm going left. Okay, I'm going right. But she's just as deadly. She recognizes Groo's skill with a sword, of him being like, come on, one man take out an army. She could do the same thing, but Groo doesn't think. He just goes in all action, right? There's times where Groo's fighting and he's trying to get her attention. He's not even paying attention to who's in front of him. He's just looking at her, hearts over his head. He's like, hey, you see what I'm doing? I'm taking all these people down. And she's like, Groo, pay attention to what you're doing. Oh, don't worry about it. Which leads to, and it's so much to get into, but it leads to a lot of misadventures. So that's the whole beauty of it. So there's one. There's the minstrel who's a singing jester that goes around following, or he runs into Groo, and he sings these songs. But when Groo catches on that most of the time he's singing these songs, now it didn't take him right away. These are a couple of issues gone by. He's like, hey, those songs you sing about me are making me look bad. You're making fun of me. And the minstrel turns to his face, is like, yeah, but you're a buffoon, but people love you, and I'm just writing what it is. And then he spins it from a way that Groo won't punch him. Right. There's Groo's sister, Gruella,
right?
Who looks just like Groo. Oh. But how they draw in the book, right? Because Groo's not pretty himself, but she's very smart, and she's a queen. So her brother's a wanderer, and she's a queen.
I'll say, come on, son.
Come on, son. Ed Lover's back, baby. Ed Lover's back. Do the Ed Lover dance. Shout out to Come On, Son. Ed Lover. So funny. So funny. Him and Dr. Dre. Not Dr. Dre, Eminem Dr. Dre, but Dr. Dre from Ed Lover from MTV Yo TV Raps.
Remember that. Come on
now. Get with me. Holla if you hear me. So, you know, and I mean, there's more and more characters as we go on
Yeah.
into all of these things, but you know, that's who stands out to me. Gorilla, the minstrel, the sage, who's a wise old man. He almost looks like he could be your Gandalf kind of thing, but he's just really wise, and he tries to help out Groo. He feels sorry for him because he knew Groo as a little boy, and as a little boy, Groo was smart until he had a spell put onto him and made him dumb. You know, and I said there's another guy in there, what's his name, Armando, I think it is. The pirates, Tarantaro.
The warrior, Arcadio.
Yes, Arcadio. Yeah.
Arcadio.
This guy, chiseled chin, looks like a warrior, blonde hair, but you never see him fight. But he's known as the ultimate. He's the hero's hero, and every time he sees Groo, it's like, oh, hey, Lackey, how's it going? You know. There was a where he had a task one time, and Minstrel's there, and it's like, well, I have to kill 7 dragons. No, I made a promise to kill 50 dragons, 7 dragons or 50 dragons in one day, something like that. Mm-hmm. And every time he went to go and kill a dragon, he would walk up, put his sword down, go into the ceremony, start meditating. You know, Groo would sit there and go, oh, Jesus, this is boring. And then Groo would run down the hill, fight the dragon, kill it, bring it back up. And then when he's ready to go, it's like, okay, now it's time for me to defeat the dragon. Groo's like, I already defeated the dragon. Huh? He would stab the head once, you know,
just to prove,
just say, oh, I touched him. Okay, I killed him. Groo's like, ooh, wow, this guy is a good guy. He is a good fighter. He killed him in one blow. That's right, I killed him in one blow. It's like, Groo, you did all the work. You fought a dragon with 2 swords and a loincloth, man, and won.
Let it go. We'll just let it go. But it's just hilarious to understand that. Hopefully everybody's catching that. These are nice parodies. This is the great thing about Groo. Groo is basically, like we said initially, this is like, because when this came out, you know, after the good popularity of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Conan the Barbarian, this is just a good comical parody of what if Conan wasn't who he was, if he wasn't smart and good, but we'll just keep the one parody that he's a good fighter. Other than that, we'll just put, you know, on the D&D type of scale, is all ranking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Fighting skills 10, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Could walk.
Yeah.
Could walk.
You're right.
Walk half a point.
Oh my God. Intelligence, you know, half a point. Wisdom, half a point. Right. Charisma, maybe a point. You know, charisma probably maybe a 2. Strength, definitely 18. Dexterity, right. It has to be an 18. Constitution, his constitution gotta be like a 19. So he's got bonuses on his constitution, you know, and then he got the barbarian stats with it, you know. So yeah, but the rest of the time, dumb as dirt.
Just make you like, why? Right?
Why? And that's the thing. The whole run ran for about 120 issues from issue 1 to issue, and then there's still original graphic novels, right? So there's the Death of Groo, you know, the Birth of Groo, where it shows him as a young kid growing into a man and having those adventures there, and then a lot of it, there's a lot of reprints and stuff like that out there. So definitely worth getting.
The read. Definitely.
Look, it's all about laughter. We need some laughter. You know, a lot of books are serious. You want to have some good parodies. You know, if all these things can happen. If The Simpsons and Family Guy and American Dad, you know, can go. Trust me. Why can't this? I know they try to do one there, Zoran, where he was like I think Adult Swim, where he was like a barbarian.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was living in present day. And I'm like, okay, you could have just gotten the rights to Groo, and then, you know, that would have been some.
Wow. Right.
So this brings me to my point now. Thank you for holding on. So remember, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If we had to turn around, and me and Rod had this conversation, so I made my picks, he's made his picks, we will break it down. Rod, how would you like to see this done? Live action? Cartoon? What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts if they had to bring this to the small screen, big screen, streaming screen, whatever it is?
For this, it has to be like animated. It has to be cartoon. It has to be animated.
Okay.
As much as I definitely would like to see a live action one, But a live action one, it would be, you just pointed out, they have like they have over like 100 different episodes, strips and everything about that. So there's a lot of content that they can feed off of.
Yes.
How much can they put into an hour and a half, 2 hour movie? You know what? I would like to see more of that character build, because you're gonna kind of expect within that 2 hours to know who he is, try to grasp it, and because his type of humor is different than what we normally would expect.
Right.
It needs that long play. You need to have that long play of having episodes. You start to understand that, you start to feel not sorry, but you feel like
you want to root for him, but you're laughing at the same time.
Exactly. And to be able to pull that off in a show, it can be done in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would rather have that in a long episode, having like a 13 or a 15 episode type of show.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that a couple of seasons, and then you really can start to build. And again, all this was done back in the days in the 80s and stuff like that. Now we can have some good, extend the writing, give it a little bit more depth and stuff like that. I would definitely like to see that as an anime type of cartoon type of one. So with that entail,
yes.
If we're going to say we're going to do the live action, the same person I'm going to want to do both. I want to do the voice, and it's a distinguished voice. As I've always said, sometimes like I may be the one who comes with the more common person. Barry always like to be the, getting the underdog type of guys and everything that. But I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Jack Black. Okay. So I could see as the comical person physically and everything like that. Yes, even if you're seeing it right there, imagine putting two katanas in Jack Black's hands. Right there. We should be able to just walk into Netflix and just say, listen, I got a story for you. Here's the basis. Jack Black, two katanas in his hand. He's a warrior, barbarian. Let your mind go. I'm going down. I'm just going to go get something to drink. You want something? And by the time you come back with like the drinks, and you be like saying, so are we going to do this now? And people are like,
sign the check. Sign the check.
Jack Black is that? But then again, he's a comical person. He has comic timing and stuff like that.
Physical humor.
Comedic timing and everything like that. So imagine having him doing that live. But again, imagine having that do that on, as an anime. Let him do the voice, because now it's more non-limit. There's no limits. He's just basically vocally putting what type of action behind whatever the anime and give him. So now they're going to really make Groo be Groo, and Groo's going to do stuff that, physically possible with CGI, but, drawn out. We can now go back to what you just said, his strength and dexterity, stuff like that. 19. So he could be able to like, oh! And now you can see someone literally flying back in anime, you realize saying, oh, I felt that. And Jack Black voicing behind that?
Okay. You put some thought into that one. Okay, all right.
Oh, sorry, brother.
Man, we never taking time off again because you came out swinging, cuz. You came out swinging, cuz.
You coming with hands. I'm just trying to catch those hands. Catch the hands.
Okay.
Technique.
Okay. Shang-Chi.
And the legend of the 10 fingers. Legend of the 10 fingers. Not even the ring. 10 fingers. Catching.
10 fingers. Catching. Wow. Here he goes. It's 5 across the eyes and 10 fingers. The puck went out. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I okay. Now see, I was thinking Jack Black, right? But I had Jack Black in my head because I know not Nacho Libre, where he was playing the wrestler.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, right. And I'm making your point for you. If you watch his Instagram stuff and you see some of the stuff he does on Instagram or TikTok, okay. And I was like laughing, and I'm like, yeah, I could see that. But now I'm with you. I picked one person that would go live action or cartoon or anime, animated, right? So agree with you. As a movie, no, I need ongoing episodes, right?
Right.
I need it's either got to be Adult Swim, later on at night. It's not for kids, right? So if I really So I'm looking to Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Right. I'm looking at, Netflix and Amazon, as a streaming service, and it can go either way with a cartoon or live action. So the person I picked, he looks it and doesn't look the role. He looks very pretty, right?
Okay. Pretty boy. All right.
He's a pretty boy. He's a pretty boy. But when he's got that stockiness, he's got the comedic timing.
Okay.
Right? He's been in a movie that required him to do both and be physical. And at the same time, you rooted for him, but at some point you're like, man, he's a dick. But it makes you laugh. So he can pull those strings, take you on that adventure, that journey.
Okay.
So I'm going with, and his name is Julian Dennison. Now, if you don't know who Julian Dennison is by name, let me explain him to you.
All right.
If you've watched Deadpool 2.
Gotcha.
And you look for that kid that Deadpool was trying to help, and then he frees the Juggernaut Firestarter that Cable comes back to deal with. That kid, he's Australian. Julian Dennison. That's who I was looking at. Now, if you look at him, yes, he's got a kind of pretty face. And in some of the pictures, you look at him, it's like, okay, but yeah, him. And he's got long black hair, which fits the role. And he's stocky, but if you see his role that he played in there in Firestarter, in Deadpool 2, I mean, if you look at when he's in prison and, Deadpool's talking about, okay, how do you get a pen in there and use that as a weapon?
Right.
How he he frees the Juggernaut, how he gets to the end and almost, right.
The way he was speaking that script right there, even I was like, whoa, that's a little hard from a little young man like you.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. I'm like,
yeah. So let's make him a lot lighter, right? Like lighter humor, I'm talking, right? That's what I meant.
Yeah,
like lighter humor, to fit with Groo, but he's got the physicality, he's got the stockiness, he's got the hair already. And I think it would be funny, to don't even get him to change his voice. Let him talk in his native tongue, that native dialect, that Australian twang to it. Let him, because Groo, then, they say he's kind of, European and everything. And every time they cast these barbarian roles or sword and sorcery roles, you don't have people talking like they're from Brooklyn. They always get the thespian from the UK and England, it's like, I am a magic user and you do not know the power, you know what I mean? It's always almost stereotypical how the voice is. So let's break that mold. If we're going to go that far with it, let him, don't give him a voice coach and tell him to talk, let him talk with, hey mate, how you doing? I would love to hear Groo talking like that. It's like, I'm Groo the Wanderer. What's going on, mate? It's stupid, but let it go. Let it happen. Let it happen. And I think as a voiceover, the voiceover, you have to do it animated and let him voice it. That would be hilarious. The fact that he's not as a maybe well-known actor as of yet, and hopefully maybe in time as Jack Black, you're going to get him at a different type of budget, but it'll give exposure to him and the series, going forward. So that's one. If you have to do it live action, give him two, as you put it, two katanas in his hand, say, think about it. I'm going down to get me some Popeyes. Popeyes chicken.
You want something?
You want something? You want something? What do you want? You want what? Okay, text me your order, and I'll be back. I'll be back in half an hour. All right, good enough time. All right, cool. And I'm gonna come back. Okay, who wanted the biscuits? Who wanted the biscuits? Who got the 3-piece? Who got? Oh, okay, that's my handwriting. I got the 3-piece. This is who I'm going with. So I want. He's done other movies, but that's the one that I think our fans who listens to the show would recognize him from.
No. That's a good run. Yeah, I could see it, because it was like, you know what, you definitely had to just mold me in. But as soon as you said who it was, and reference back definitely to the Deadpool aspect of it too. You know what? And it's funny too. I think Godzilla versus Kong.
Yes,
he was in there as well.
Yes.
So
yes.
even then, he still had that little. You're nice. You're annoying, but you're nice. But I'm like, you know what? We can work with that. So yeah, I like. He's a different type of. At least the character he's portraying is different, and it's nice. So
yes.
Yes, it could definitely. I could say that's a good one. I can see with that one.
Yeah, and I think okay, you know, and I'd be hardcore. If you're gonna go live action with this, bring this guy in. Just don't give him the two swords and wave around. Let him do some weapons training. Give him the two katanas. Give him some weapons training so the scenes look more authentic, right? You know, give him a sword master so he actually learns how to use a sword, because the whole thing is that you have to make it believable is he really can fight. He's just, you know, when he's fighting, he's magic, but the rest of the time, dumb as dirt. So let him carry on that role. Two, he's younger than Jack Black. Therefore, if you want to get a series, okay, he's younger. He could be around a little bit longer. You know, Jack Black might come out and say, oh, okay, I'll tough it out for season one. Jack Black is more Mr. Movie guy. He might do some voiceover, you know, and that's it. With him, you have a better chance of getting him on board and saying, yeah, this is who we're bringing. This is what we're doing. You know, he's not going to be Jack Black rate, but give him some proper weapons training, you know, and bring him out there. People won't expect him because everyone's going to think, oh, he's going to get out there and just go and joke around. No, I want him to really get out there. Ting, 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 ting. And be like, oh, you know, you won't expect him to be a true. And I think the same thing would have to be Jack Black. Even if Jack Black got it, right? Give him proper weapons training. Give him, so, because I don't want it to be goofy fighting. I want the story to be slapstick. I want, you know, it has to be portrayed like as a farce, slapstick, misunderstandings, and project that type of humor. Right? Like how it was like Three's Company. Three's Company did the slapstick comedy really well. So you got to kind of do something along those lines. But at the same time, he got to really know how to fight.
Right.
Right. And once you get that, then you can build the rest of the world with other people doing appearances, playing the other roles. So that's why I'm going with someone a little bit younger for longevity.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because it's going to be a very physical role. And clearly he can do it. He done it. He run, he jumped, you know, look at those two movies, King Kong versus Godzilla and Deadpool 2. He was physical in both of them.
Yep, completely.
Right? He's got that energy in there. It's like, let go of your inner madness. You know, if it was years ago in his prime, I would have gone with John Goodman. Right? Because John Goodman's, he was like big. He had that statuesque thing, and John Goodman has that kind of crazy go to him, right? So John Goodman, like years ago, if they would have done this back in the 80s when he was like maybe before he did Roseanne or just doing, you would have put John Goodman in that? Oh, come on now. John Goodman would have been all over that, son. You know, but still bring in John Goodman, let him play a king or something. That would be hilarious. John Goodman's got crazy written on his face. I want anyone that's got crazy and thing, but that's what I'm doing with, you know. So Julian Dennison, that's my guy that I'm picking for this one.
Okay. No. Sounds good. I like. Well, but this has been a good episode. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself, because we just have some good dialogue. Definitely try to give you the nice history, the nice rich history about Groo the Wanderer, and I hope that you take a liking and you just decide, you know what? Let me take a look. Let me see if I can find some issues. Let me just see, you know, what these guys are talking about. Let me read a couple of episodes and issues and see what it is that, you know, was pulling them towards it. Maybe it can pull you to it. So, listen, that'll be one of the best things I would say you can do. Listen, yeah, B, I don't know what else if you want to add in.
You've hit it on the head, right? Let's put it. Christmas is coming up, and everyone's always looking at what gifts you can get and what you can do for someone. So if you know someone that has a sense of humor and loves reading comic books, and you want to make them laugh at the same time, then go and get a couple of back issues. And I mean, as I told you before at the beginning of this podcast, if you're out in the Kitchener area, then go over to WoW Comics, right? And I'm sure you can find the whole run, and you'll get it really at a good price. And if you're in Montreal, head over to Check Swings, and you could probably find it there at another decent price too, and they can get the whole run there for you. So 120 issues individually, or you can buy the graphic novels, and I'm sure you can find those novels. I know those graphic novels are on Amazon, you know, Indigo. So you can find those, have them delivered. It's still time. If you want a gift that's going to have, you know, if you know someone's in the comic books, trust me, you're about to give them some proper history. They might look at you kind of funny at first, but once you start reading it, it's a nice, easy read that's going to make you laugh and go, oh my gosh, what did I just read? It pulls you in. It draws you in. And then understand the history of it. You can let them know that this is one of the longest creator-owned books at the time when it was out. So he was ahead of Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Eric Larson. He was ahead of them, and many more who were the core of Image Comics at the time.
Right.
Yes. On that note, thank you once again for tuning into the Iconis Podcast. Remember, you can find us on any streaming, service where you listen to your podcast, or you can watch us on YouTube. And as I always say, this world was created by a piece of paper, a pencil, and imagination. Keep on dreaming.
Do it. Keep dreaming.
Dream on. And if you see Rod on Twitch, tell him I still went here Saturday love. Thank you. All right, and good night.
Okay. This guy. I'll give you a Saturday night love. And the jokes continue. Good day, good night, good wonderful time to everyone. Toodles! Yeah, we're out of here.